So before Alok comes in, I would just like to, because I have another meeting to also attend. Unfortunately, it got overlapped. So can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
sir. Yes.
Let me thank Alok for again coming to our support and helping to do this study. I also thank Equifax for facilitating this important study. Good morning to all of you and welcome for this important meeting where we are trying to discuss about how do we go forward as far as this particular study is concerned. I thank Equifax for providing us the resources for taking up this study. Basically, it's a follow-up of what we had in Chennai. Chennai, we did a one-day conference on HR where a lot of discussions have happened. Some of the people who are here must have been also there part of it. Equifax was also there, and probably they were impressed with the way things were happening, or they wanted to find a way out of the issues which were discussed. They have requested us to carry out a study, and based on that only, they gave us the resources, and this is there we are now. Basically, we all know that HR is a major pain point for all of us. It's irrespective of the institutions. Only the degree varies. Somebody has, say, 40% attrition, somebody has 60% attrition, and somebody has 100% attrition. Because I have seen MFI with 100% attrition. They told me that their entire field level staff get changed in the sense they go out of their system in a year's time. So almost 100% attrition happens. So this is an issue. Other kind of issues are also there, like people just join the organization, leave the organization, and somebody else accept them. So those kind of not a healthy practice are also seen, and we have discussed this in the HR conference. So what we want to do is that, and what Equifax has helped us in conducting this study is that we want to know the root cause because it has suddenly gone up. If you see pre-COVID, things were not this bad. I think average was around 30-40% only, but definitely it has gone up after the COVID period. So what has gone wrong? Is then what is the problem as far as the employees are concerned? What are the difficulties they face, and how can we find a solution to that? That is what we are looking through this study. So basically, we would be talking to some of the existing staff as well as some of the staff who have left the organization and must have joined somebody else also. So to understand why they have left or why what is that they would have been looking forward for and how that can be sorted out. So this is what we would be doing through this study and try to understand, try to come out with some kind of a solution to see how best we can reduce this kind of a attrition level and make things much more easy for the institutions. At the end of the study, we would be calling all of you for a roundtable discussion where we will be presenting it and further fine tuning the report, and we would like to make it available to all the MFIs, the recommendations of this. So, this is what we intend to do. Saibal, anything more you want to say? You can take up, continue the discussion. Since I have another meeting to attend, I may have to leave. That's all.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Mohan.
Thank you, sir.
Good
Thank
morning.
you.
Good morning, everyone. What Mr. Mohan has told, he has actually told us the contour of the thing. So, this study is not a fault finding study. First of all, I should tell this one.
Yeah.
This study is basically to understand how we can retain our these employees because we have also invested in them. So, we should not, we should not give them like let them go because of certain reasons. So this study will also help us to understand what are the positive factors which are helping these institutions to retain the clients. What are the positive factors and what are the challenging factors? It may not be always it may not be the issues of the microfinance institution. For that reason, the employees are going out. It may be the external pool is there and maybe little bit better salary package or something they are getting for that reason. So this is the thing. This is the study we wanted to do. to understand that. What are the factors? So this is not a study. What happens that, as Mr. Mohan has already told you, we have taken so everywhere, wherever in every platform of Sadhan and others also, we could understand that HR is a big issue. And then we thought how to address it. Then we were thinking, we were actually brainstorming. Then we thought that let us take it as a program, not as a project. So the first thing which we have organized to understand what are the things over there, what our these HR leads they are thinking. So from there now, this is the thing which are doing to have a deep dive in the things to have better understanding. Possibly after this, we will also try to develop either a manual or capacity building. That's in future, and we have to raise fund for it. So this is a kind of, this is a kind of a program we have undertaken to address the issue of HR. And thank you for coming, attending this meeting, and it would be good to hear from you to strengthen our study. So if we can request Deepak to have a presentation for us, and please feel free to contribute in it, all of you people. You are very senior people, and we will be looking forward for your contribution to strengthen the study. Because this is the first study, possibly the first study, which is being done at the industry level.
So, thank you, Soibal, for giving this introduction. And as you said, this is going to be a very important study, and this is first of kind in the industry. Possibly, MFI would have done this kind of study themselves on their own staff, but the results are not available for public consumption or for the benefit of all the MFI members. So the objective of this study overall will be to give an overall industry perspective around why there is high attrition among the MFI staff members, particularly at the field staff. In fact, we'll be focusing on the field staff and even within the field staff, primarily at the loan officer, because we have observed that the attrition is highest at the loan officer level, not so much at the branch manager level. So we'll keep this very focused so that the real issues which are impacting the MFIs, those can be identified and then addressed. So I'll share my screen. I hope all of you are able to see my screen.
Yes, you can.
Yeah. So we want to do this study through an interview with the current and past field staff. And when I say field staff, this means primarily people who are working, primarily people who are working in the branches at the loan officer level. We'll take your suggestion. Should we include branch managers also in this? But as per our thought, because the highest level of attrition is among the loan officer level, so we should focus on the loan officer level. Then some of the issues which we have identified through our own experience, which we will be putting up in the questionnaire also. So some of the reasons for attrition, these are some of the issues which could possibly be. We are not very sure at this stage, but from our experience,
of course, I think we need not have to have a pre-judgment on that.
Will not have.
And secondly, I also like to assure the MFIs that this will be totally, we will not be bringing mentioning any of the MFIs names in the report. It's only, we are trying to only understand the issue and what possible solution is possible. We are only taking a help to meet some of the staff members and also your past staff members. But we will never be anywhere be mentioning anything about the institution's concern. So okay, that you can take it for sure. So I believe now. So all the best for the study, and let us see. We'll bring out something best out of this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alok.
Yes. And once we identify the reasons, we'll also have a set of recommendations based on what people have said during those interviews, and possibly run them through some of the some of the people in the HR team and also in the business team. It's also important for us to present the findings to people in the business team, because we also understand that people in the business teams are responsible for lots of recruitment, the performance appraisal, as well as their day-to-day working. So we should also involve some of the business people when we once we have identified the reasons for staff attrition. The sample, the way we'll plan to do it is, we'll compile a long list of 5,000 staff members, and 50% of them will be those who have quit the organization recently, around between up to 9 months, so that they can tell us about the reasons. 50% will be large MFIs, 50% will be small and medium MFIs, and we'll also have regional variation, 25% each from east, northeast, west, north, and south. So this kind of variation we'll be having in the long list. After that, we'll randomly draw a sample of 2,000, and then we'll target to have 1,000 successful interviews. 50% of them will be those who have left the organization recently. As DG Memon said, that we'll not go with any preconceived notions, but we'll still have a few questions for us to explore. So questions on workload, hygiene and living conditions in the branches, physical safety, risk, HR grievances addressing mechanism, salary incentives, career growth opportunities, behavior of the supervisors, and also some of the positive aspects. Also, we may ask them what are the things which they like. Overall, what could be the major issues of dissatisfaction and overall job satisfaction. We'll also obtain from them suggestions how to improve, and if they have any concern, what are their suggestions related to the improvement in the these things. Then some of the specific questions will be asking the staff who have quit recently, specifically what are the key reasons for their quitting, and then whether they're still in the MFI sector or not. So we hear lots of anecdotes about that people who leave the organization actually leave the industry also. So but we do not have any data or any systematic information related to that. But we want to understand through this study also that what proportion of the people who quit the organization, they actually quit the industry itself. So this will be the questionnaire. We still have to think about how we'll compile the list of the staff members. If Equifax has a list of the staff members, then we can get it from them. If Equifax does not have the list of the staff members, we'll request a sample of MFIs to provide us this information. So we'll possibly select around 50 organizations, and then we could request them to provide a list of around 100 staff members randomly from across their branches. So this is how this will be done, and once we have compiled the findings, once we have completed the interviews, we'll compile the findings in the form of a report, and we can also have a workshop of HR managers as well as the business team people. So that's all from me, Stephen. So I'd like to have suggestions from you on the methodology or any specific thing. Yeah.
Deepak, okay, Huma, please.
No, just one question. Since you're going to be doing for people across the organization, will it also be vernacular language?
Yes, it will be vernacular language. So it will be telephonic interviews. Will be telephonic, and the people will be talking to the people. They will be speaking the same language in which those are there. Yeah.
Deepak, apart from if Equifax is able to provide you with the names, then what else do you want from these MFIs?
No, nothing. Then we do not need anything. If Equifax is able to send us the list, then we do not need anything from the MFIs.
So
maybe-
as of
Yeah,
just the people whom you choose, like 15 random names you are saying that you choose.
yeah.
So they have to do nothing for this study.
No, I'm not saying 15. We'll have 50 MFIs.
50.
50.
50. Whatever. So they have to do apparently their job is nothing.
No, but they will have to review the findings. I mean, it's for their consumption only. So they will have to review the reports and give the feedback in the workshop which we conduct later on.
Okay.
We have to
Prashant.
we have to check with Equifax.
Yeah, we have to check
Somebody,
somebody.
if somebody from Equifax is there, if he or she can tell us whether it can be sourced. Possibly they cannot.
Reena, has Reena joined? Reena was saying
Yes, I've just joined, but I'll have to check on that. I don't think so I can share that information.
Right.
Prashant has a
Yeah,
question.
Prashant.
Yeah, thanks, Deepak. First and foremost, compliments to you as well as to Sadan for conducting this program. I think it's very important that we needed to do this kind of a study. I don't know whether it's going to be a longitudinal study. Just two concerns that I had is regarding the sample size. You said there is around 5,000 staff. You're talking about 5,000 staff whom you're going to connect, because you see many times what happens is that in our kind of industry, people once they leave, they kind of remove their numbers, tracing them becomes very difficult also.
Right.
So 5,000 is actual hits that is there, or just the calls that you have to make?
No, we have mentioned here that targeted 1,000 successful interviews.
Okay.
So long list will be 5,000. So from the 5,000, we're targeting that we should at least be able to have 1,000 successful interviews. From the 5,000, we will draw our first random sample of 2,000. And in case we are not able to get cover our targets, then we'll have additional sample from the remaining.
Yeah, I think we can just have a look into that number, because 1,000 in Indian context with that kind of spread that we have, will that give you a clear picture about it, or whether it could be a bit skewed? I think we can just have a look into that aspect. Second thing is also, in terms of some of the regions, I think we are already aware about the fact that these are some of the things that usually leads to it. But having said that, I think it would be good to know, especially of the duration of people. That, for example, when you said that somebody was left 1 or 2 months earlier, or somebody was left 5-6 months earlier, because you also have a lot of people coming back and joining after 5-6 months. Right, so that's another factor which we have seen. Third is also about asking whether those persons were really interested to be in this sector or not. That initial, because you see, most of the time you'll find that 0 to 3 is where the infant mortality is where you have maximum of the people leaving. Right, so it could be a fitment issue that could also arise, that they were not very sure about the sector that they wanted to really join and all of that. So I think it's a little bit of a segmentation of your study and your insights would really help the industry.
So that's a very useful suggestion. In fact, one of the issues which I have already listed, expectation mismatch is one of the issues which I have already listed. So that is one of the important factors that when they come to the organization, they would have thought something else. They leave within a month or 2 months or 3 months. So those kind of segmentations will be doing on the basis of the age of the responses, age of the people in the organization.
Thanks, Deepak.
So, I have a little bit of observation on this target. We are telling that 1,000 successful interviews. I think it should be at least 2,000. Then only it will have a kind of, this impression on the agencies that this is what we are seeing.
Okay, so we'll look at the interviews. We can definitely increase the sample. We can definitely increase the sample. So, but then we'll have to, even the long list has to be slightly larger than, or at least 8,000. If we are targeting.
What Prashant was telling, that nowadays most of these MFIs, they give this PA, right? In that case, do we change? Do they change their phone number? Because it is also somehow linked with that one. I'm just trying to understand.
The porous.
Hi, good morning to all of you. Season wishes to all of you. Thank you for this initiative. I think 1,000 pool is very less. The pool will be much larger than 1,000. Further, in Tata Capital, we use a third party called Ace Engage. We also come up with ways of which should be controlled, the attrition and uncontrolled measures. So when the inputs come from your end, we should also have what could be controlled to retain that guy and what are uncontrolled measures.
Yes.
Today, what I have seen in Tata Capital, the recent entrant to last 1.5 years, the maximum reasons would be, besides of course culture is one thing, but the process policies, behavioral aspects, and the zeal to actually carry on for a long time in an organization. People come out, like Prashant said, within 3 months, 2 months, just for sake of just checking out things or just waiting the time. So the target audience average experience should be kept in mind while speaking with them. That's very important.
Yes. So we'll definitely try and segment the responses on the basis of their average experience at the time of leaving.
Actually, what I thought that when I was working on this piece of work with this your project, but the impression was in my mind, it was like 2,500, like they are working in the institution, and 2,500, they have gone out of the institution.
50%.
Yeah, 50% means 2,500, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
So the total sample size, like sample size will be better.
So we'll not discuss the BU.
Yeah, so it has to be.
Yeah.
1,000 is less. Flip it back.
Yeah.
Next. I have a request to all of you people that identify reasons for staff attrition. He has already identified a couple of these areas. Do you think we should add 1 or 2 more in this?
So this is only a presumptive reasons criteria.
I agree. So this is why we are presenting.
But when we discuss with when we discuss with the staff members, then they can come up with some of the reasons which may not fit in this category. So we will not go with any presumptions as such.
Agree. But when we are, this is the kind of checklist we have developed. So anybody of you, if you want to put some 1 or 2 more in this, or if you think that this is exhaustive list, because you guys are on the ground and you guys are dealing day in, day out, possibly you will be the right person to tell us that if this list is enough or we need to put 1 or 2 more.
They talk about medical reasons as well. Medical, they are not being medically fit, or too much of stress in the opinion. That could also be there.
Okay.
We could also include some kind of employee benefits or say policies because of which employees leave.
Your chorus was also technical.
Just a like pointer. I'm sure Mr. Alok was saying that this is only an indicative list. When you talk to them, you will be able to actually understand what are the real reasons, and we really look forward to getting very deep into it and understanding what is the real cause of attrition. Now today, every organization is doing exit interview, right? As long as the employee is reachable, available, and accessible. But what I saw as a cause of concern is the absconders, which is job abandonment, right? They just don't tell you anything. Either they raise resignation and exit without serving notice period, or they don't even raise any exit. They just leave, stop coming to work on, one fine day. In fact, I saw a trend when we started updating in Equifax, the data of people joining and leaving. We could see a declining trend in the service abandonment. Really it was helpful because every organization was looking at Equifax as one point of reference, and we sent 3 notices and then we generally do termination of service. Like because of that, we were not hiring. The organizations, like all of us, were not hiring. But what I saw again, which is coming back, is every organization is like completely challenged for resources, right? So we really don't mind even if Equifax has an entry of termination as long as it's not a fraud. and he started hiring even without a leaving letter. So also would like to really understand, I mean, what is the reason why they abandoned service? Is it because of the work environment, or is it because of the comfort levels are not there, that they could either reach out to a HR or to the manager, or what is the trigger? Why do they have to really,
Right.
something about that I would like to understand a little more.
Sure, that's a very important point. In fact, that was in my mind when we sent out the list of information. We would also ask for people who have left the organization without informing. So that can be one of the flags. So typically, yes.
I was also thinking where these people they are going. This can also be like, are they getting opportunities in the STEM sector? Like, are they being poached? Like, people are taking them, and that is the reason they are leaving, or just because you are joining some X company, some Y company comes and says, "Ki, I'll give you." Is it because of that, or they have all these other conditions which they are mentioning over here?
Yeah, so that is already covered here. So that specific questions we have already included. Will already included. So are they still working in the MFI sector or not? Is an important concern. So we hear from many places that at least 50-60% of them do not come serve in the industry itself. So, but no numbers as such are there.
Deepak, also I would like, this is Sangeeta here.
Yes,
I would like to know if there is any early warning signals of their leaving. So how do the staff behave before they leave? Or can we have that indicator so that the department is prepared for some kind of eventuality? Something like that, if that can be captured, so that can be an important indicator going forward as to this might be the reason, because people display sufficient behavioral kind of things before they go.
Yeah, we can definitely include some of the early warning indicators, but those early warning indicators not necessarily might be related to the staff members whom we are interviewing. Those early warning signals could be something else, like too much targets being given to the branches, or overdue spiking in the branches, or many new staff in those branches. Those could be the early warning indicators. Possibly during the interviews we can identify some of those. But from my experience, in most of the cases, the people leave out of when there is a trigger. So it will be important for us to identify those triggers, and those triggers might not be reflected in the behavior of the staff members all the time. It might be something else. So we'll try and identify some of those things.
Sorry, Mr. Alok, one other thing. Would you also mean, because you said it's going to be an interview, right? It's not just a question where you're going to pick something. While you're talking to them, you will also be understanding your background. You'll also be able to understand what is the distance that they travel, and a little bit of the background, which will help us in building some personas.
Sure.
Right? Some personas on what's the ideal profile and what's the, maybe it will also answer the question of the early warning that
right. Yeah. So one of the important things is the distance between the hometown and the placement, date of placement. What is the optimum mix? The business team would want to place them at least around 150 kilometers. But then the farther we place them, the higher the chances of them leaving. So what is the optimum balance? That possibly could be one of the findings.
Thank you.
Deepak, this is Runu from VFS.
Yes, please tell.
The thing is that you will do the interview for 1,000 exit candidate. So it's my opinion, already previously someone told that it should be increased in 2,000. So take the absconding case more, because you will get the real picture. It's my personal experience I'm sharing with you, because those are living properly from the system. So they put the recognition they will serve. There's a two reasons. Maybe one is growth of their career and one is salary.
Request
if you take the
One second. Please, I request others to put off their mic. Those who are not speaking, please put off your mic, please.
Yes,
Please
ma'am.
continue.
Okay. So if you talk to the absconding candidate, I think you will get the real picture because those are going to the normal mode of resignation. They will serve. So there is a two reasons. Maybe they will go for the higher salary or career growth. So weightage is there. So if you take the sample in case of more than 80% of absconding case, so you will get the what is the main reason behind that. Maybe that you have mentioned the good point previously. I saw the good point is condition, work overload, whatever X Y Z. So it's my input to you. Please take a absconding case more rather than the normal resignation. Thank you.
That's important suggestion. So in the plan which we have right now, so 50% is those who are currently working, and 50% those who have quit the organization recently. So there's a good thing that we should increase or reduce the proportion of current employees and increase the proportion of the people who have left. If that is the case, we'd be happy to do that.
No, I don't have a query from all of you to all of you that what's the percentage of your this employees who have moved out from your institution were actually absconding? What's the percentage? Anybody of you can answer that. What's the percentage you are seeing?
At least in my organization, Dwara KGFS, I see about 30 to 40% of the total exit numbers absconding.
Anybody?
The same here.
Okay, 30 to 40%. Okay, so Deepak, if we can take this another 50% who has moved out from the institutions, 40% of them are like this absconding. Yeah, 40% of that percentage.
Because nowadays absconding ratio is moving up, so I think it is getting a good feedback from the absconding candidate. What is the main reason? So we can work on it. I think
it's fine. I'm just trying to understand and put it in percentage.
Okay. We're talking about the weightage of the exit.
Right. So 40% of our this non-MFI, so the people who has moved out from MFI, if we take the absconding one, maybe a good reflection of the institution industry.
Right.
Navarun, you want to tell something? We are yet to hear from Prakriti, Anirban, Jitendra. If you people want to tell something. Yes, Jitendra.
Deepak, I was listening to the conversation. I think whatever doubts I had has been mostly covered by everyone. So I don't have anything specific right now.
Thank you. So maybe my question to everybody, like, should we reduce the sample of existing staff from 50% to slightly maybe 30% to 40%? What do you feel?
Yes, I think we should reduce the number or the percentage of existing staff rather we should take people who already left to be interviewed because I think they'd be more honest and would be
Also, Deepak, what would be worthwhile to look at is, your early people leaving, but there's also a trend of people who are 1 year and above leaving,
Yes.
And I think that there you'll get a different picture compared to might be, early leaving. So maybe when you're doing the segmentation in terms of your overall sample size, you can look into that aspect as well. Those people who stayed for at least 1 year, 1.5 years, and then
Sure.
Another segment, Deepak, would be like people who have left and then came back to the organization. That would be a very interesting kind of segment. And the reasons. Maybe a small percentage of interviews can be allocated for them.
So we can see, but I'm not sure what percentage employee will be like that at the loan officer level. I'm not sure what percentage of that will be there. At the BM level, I do understand that there are many cases where people leave at the BM level and rejoin at the BM level. But at the loan officer level, I'm not sure what is the percentage. Maybe somebody can help me get that number. If that is a significant proportion, we can include.
From the Equifax data only, can we not identify which segment leaves? So, what is the percentage that leaves? Attrition, in terms of attrition, and from that we can allocate a percentage. I also don't know about the loan officer level, but yes, PM level or anybody else, because we are we not including other levels also apart from the loan officer?
No. We're not including other levels in this study because the major issue is at the loan officer level.
Okay.
Let's remain very focused.
Yeah, okay. So this will also be interesting if somebody is coming back.
Yeah. So, but to what percentage of those people are there? So that I'm not very sure of those numbers.
Also, one question, in terms of when you do this kind of study is, non-performers for that matter, people left because of, non-performance.
They will not tell. They will not tell.
Yeah, exactly. That's what. Yeah. So they will never tell you that aspect, right? So they will always give you some reason or another for their leaving.
So maybe when we get the data from you, then we'll include that follow-up.
Yeah, and maybe when you are asking for data, then you can think about that aspect as well, because that proportion again will kind of skew your outputs which can come up.
Also, I think then, sorry, in that case, I think we need to also, call out people who have been terminated due to disciplinary action, frauds, and also cost-related exits.
So, possibly, do we need to include them in this study?
We will exclude or at least have them so that we'll exclude them from the
Exclude them. We'll exclude them. Because we believe that no meaningful inputs will come from those people who have been terminated due to frauds.
And also this, what Prashant was telling that this underperformer. So how do we identify in most of the cases, like maybe the superior person, the line manager will tell that he has been thrown out because of underperforming and all those stuff. How do we identify that?
So that will be marked in the HR software somewhere. That person has been asked to leave because of underperformance. So that will be marked somewhere in the HR software.
But what to ask them?
Yeah, but I think it will be very important if you ask the non-performers what did not enable them to perform, right? There must be some lack of support system, training, it could be some upskilling, it could be supervisory support. Lot of attributes contribute to that non-performance. So I think we should not exclude non-performers, but rather include them and understand the reasons.
Exactly. So
what are the questions? That's what my question is also. Like, what are the questions we should be asking them to get deeper view on the thing? So what I'm saying that we have to really segregate this this interviews in a very scientific way. That's what I'm saying on different parameters.
I just have a difference in opinion here when we take data or we interview non-performers, because behaviorally everyone would want to defend themselves when it comes to telling you what resources they didn't get during the tenure of the organization, because this is something that we've seen in the past as well. So this
So we'll definitely consider that I'm sure most of the responses will be like there was some kind of favoritism of my supervisor. Those kind of responses might also come. So I'm not sure how to report them, but we'll keep that in mind and we'll see what they say and
how best to explore them.
Right. And not necessarily they will get the perfect answer in this case, but we'll try to get as accurate an answer as possible. But we'll not probe too much on this because that's something which is lots of perception based.
Anirban, if you want to add something.
No, sir. Actually, I agree with previous points.
So, anybody of you, anything? So, this is where we are standing. Anybody of you, if you want to contribute anything more on this? So I think it's a good discussion, and we have decided on certain points, especially the categorization of the interviewees, and also increase the number of the respondents, all these things. So what we can do possibly, once we do that categorization and everything, we can have we can send you those notes, and if you want to respond back on it, and we will take it forward from there. One request to all of you that this is a study where we actually, I'm not very sure whether QFAX can give us this names and other, possibly they cannot. So we would be coming back to you for the information base, like of the human resources for the employees who is working and who has gone out of your institution. So this kind of information, but one thing with definitely the anonymity will be there. So we won't expose anyone's name, not the institution's name, not the person's name, anything. So we'll be coming back to you. Our request is that please to help us to get those information, because if we are not getting those information, we cannot be big and industry level, state level, wherever we go, these sort of your staff, HR related problems, staff retention problem, all these things will be continuing. So please do help us to do this industry moving study. At least you will get some insight that what is there. And also it will help us to improve certain areas that which will retain our employees where we have already invested. So thank you all. Thank you very much for your time. In a short notice, you could turn up and give your very good suggestions. I will be taking it forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All the best.
All the
Thank you.
best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. 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 हाँ ठीक है भेज दे। हाँ हाँ हम्म 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 ठीक है कर देती हूँ ओके।